Hi, and welcome to the summary of Success Session 1 for 12th grade students or students in their second year of the Blue Water Middle College program. The face-to-face sessions were held on September 21st and September 28th. If you could not attend any of those sessions, you do need to view the entire video and complete the associated assignment that will be emailed to you with a link to the video. There's a lot of information in this presentation that you need to know to make sure you accomplish all your goals as a middle college student. There are only 2 success sessions this year for 12th graders, so there's this one in the fall, and then we'll have another one in the winter semester in preparation for fall registration, which actually will open up in April. So here we go. You are nearing the halfway point now, not quite there yet with your college program, but it's time to really get an idea of where you stand and what you need to do. Because once you get into winter semester with those 3 courses for the winter, then you will be at the halfway point. So by this time next spring, you'll have half of your college completed at SC4, and then you'll finish up the second half entirely in grade 13. So here we go. At the session, we're going to talk about, and first of all, your educational development plan, your EDP. That's going to be one of the related assignments to this activity. The students who attended the session updated their EDP and turned it in. At the session, you will need to do that, and we'll talk more about that in just a minute. We're going to talk a little bit about changes to SC4 email and the Office 365 tools. More on that coming up shortly. We want to talk to you about successfully completing all of your fall classes. As I record this, it's Monday, October 1st, and that's when early alert grades are posted. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We're also then, the meat of the presentation will focus on planning for you, near term in terms of high school, and then a little bit farther in the future in terms of completing your SC4 degree, and then even farther as you start to think about what you want to do next and if you're going on to a 4-year school. So there's a lot to think about as you get ready to choose classes for winter semester. And there they are, if I just hit the button here. So high school grad requirements, your program of study for SC4. We'll talk a little bit about English and math placements because some of you have not started in English or math at the college yet, and we'll talk about that. And then a little bit, not a lot, on where to go and in the future after SC4, how to choose classes for that and so on. And then we'll kind of wrap up talking about preparing for winter registration. So that's important because that actually opens 4 weeks from today as I record this again on October 1st. Winter registration opens up on the 29th, I believe it is. Okay, so here, I'm sure it will show up here under important dates. As I mentioned, early alert grades are going to be posted supposedly by midnight tonight, Monday, October 1st. And so definitely want to log into your service center and choose the grades section, and you'll see a grade in all of your courses. If not, give it a day or two. Sometimes the instructors are a little bit late getting their grades entered, but you should see an A, B, C, D, or E, or an S for satisfactory, or a U for unsatisfactory. That's if the instructors don't have enough to really give you a solid B or C or A grade, then they can put S down, like you've been showing up and doing okay. Winter courses, and including particular sections and days and instructors, should be available in just a couple of weeks. Usually the college makes them available a couple of weeks before registration opens, and registration opens on the 29th, and so I'm expecting the courses will be available on the Wave, or in the Service Center, I should say, in just a couple of weeks. So keep that in mind. And then registration does open on Monday, October 29th. You want to be ready. You can have your 3 or 4 courses, whatever you're taking, usually it's 3, in your service center on your plan, ready to go. So when it comes to Monday, all you have to do is log in and click register for each of the courses, and you can get the schedule that you want. Now, if you're not ready by the 29th, or shortly after, then you may not get the schedule that you want or be able to take the courses that you want if they're full. So more on this later on. Okay, now I'm going to talk a little bit about your educational development plan, commonly known as your EDP. And the P, as I mentioned just a few seconds ago, stands for plan. And really, you guys, planning in college is critical. There's so many more choices for you, so many more different pathways. It's very much unlike high school. In high school, you can choose maybe the level of math you want. Sometimes that's chosen for you. You do have some electives that you can choose, but basically the goal for all high school students is the same: complete the requirements for your high school diploma. But in college, there are just so many different options: degree options, certificate options, and then courses that you want to take that will help you in your next college step, so at a university. And so all that is really up to you to choose. SC4 does not care what classes you sign up for. Certainly we do. We want to make sure you're picking classes that help you achieve your goals. So planning is key, and it's time now to really start focusing your EDP and making sure you are, I guess you know your focus, where you're heading. And if you don't, then it's time, because clear goals are key to achieving your goals. I know that sounds kind of obvious, but you can't really work on your goals if you don't know what they are, what you want to do. So we've got to get better at that if your goals are still a little fuzzy. As you near the end of high school, hopefully updating your EDP is easier and quicker. You've had to do this through career cruising for many of you at the high schools. Each year you go into career cruising, identify some careers or confirm the ones that you have noted as careers of interest. You've chosen probably some colleges you might be interested in beyond SC4. SC4 might be one of them, but possibly you're looking at a university. So hopefully this will go quicker. They are required by the state of Michigan. Early and middle colleges, like the Blue Water Middle College, are required to have their students submit an EDP. We need to have one on file. And it really is just a great idea. It would be foolish not for you to have submitted at least some kind of plan, and then we can use that to help you, find the resource that you need. So you're actually giving us information as well as kind of thinking about it for yourself. Last spring, you submitted a degree planning 101 sheet, and so that actually, you said at that time, here's the degree I'm pursuing. There were some other questions on there, a little bit about careers. At the session, we passed out the degree planning 101 sheet, and then we collected it at the end. But because this is being sent via email and it's a recording, if you want to see that sheet that you submitted, please let Miss Weimer know. If you send her an email, she can scan and send a copy to you. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, we do have it in the office. So if you're trying to think like, well, what did I put last March and April or May? We've got that here for you. But you want to consider, is that still accurate? It's been 5 or 6 months. Does it still reflect your goals? Did anything change over the summer? So today, or shortly after, you will complete a 12th grade update to your EDP. The document will be part of the email that's sent to you. It's going to be sent as a Word document and as a PDF document. If you want to write on it just by hand, pen, or pencil, then just print the PDF and write down your answers or your ideas, and then you need to get that back to us. So whether you scan it or take a very clear photo, it can't be all gray and everything like that. It's got to be a good clear photo, and then you can email that to Ms. Weimer. If you want to use the Word document, you can download it and type your responses right into the boxes on the Word document, save that, and send that then to Ms. Weimer. So Ms. Weimer is the one who is kind of keeping track of the EDPs for our students. Make sure we have a copy of them. So you do need to work on that, get that done. All the students did it at the session, so it does not take that long. Needs to be done, and you've got to submit it to Ms. Weimer, and her email address will be on the email that we send to you. Okay, so I don't have every section of the sheet, but it's actually, you'll see it's just 2 sides: name, email, grade, and so on. We've already got the school filled in. The first section is careers that interest me. You should look to put down at least 3. I'm not going to say you have to have 5. Some of you, know exactly what you want to do. I want to be a paleontologist, or I want to be a nurse, or something like that. But I want you to put another couple of ideas, the things that you might want to do, okay? Because you never know. Things change. Even though you're 99% sure it's what you want to do, things do change. And you might say, yeah, I remember thinking about this. So the second part, the schools that interest me, Again, I want you to include all that you can think of, whether it's a four-year university like Eastern Michigan University, Wayne State, U of M, wherever, or you can include other things. If you want to go to the Paul Mitchell School the cosmetology school, put that down. That's okay. If you think you're going to be going into the armed services, you can put that down. I know it's not a school, but it's okay. Put that down. So anything you think you might do, again, shoot for at least 3. If you can get 5, that's great. Okay? Now, there's a section on there that a lot of the students weren't sure about, and so I created this slide. And it talks about what career pathways you're thinking about. In this case, I'd like you to choose at least 2, and you're going to choose from this column here, the Michigan Career Pathways. Now, if you're wondering, let's say you want to go into internet marketing or something like that, you can see right there the word marketing is here. So you would write down the business management, marketing, and tech pathway. Some of them, like the human services, you might not be sure what that entails. The right column is actually some career clusters that the U.S. Department of Education uses, and there's a little more detail in them, so you can see that human services includes education and training, human services such as health and human services, helping families who are struggling or on special need or something. It includes law, public safety, all those things. So that'll give you, the column on the right gives you some more specific examples of the pathways, but you want to write down the Michigan career pathways. Okay, so find out where your careers fall and enter those. All right. A couple other things as you fill out the sheet. Level of education required is, do you need a bachelor's degree? Do you need an associate degree? Do you need beyond a bachelor's degree, such as a master's or a doctorate or PhD or something like that? If you don't know that, you should. You guys are now in 12th grade. You're almost going to be full-time college students. It's time to figure out what education is needed for the career you want. Learning styles, my guess is you kind of know your learning style. Maybe you haven't even thought about it that much, but in this case, if you're one that learns more by hearing, if you can just hear the instructor talk about the content and get it pretty well without having to read about it, and then you would be an auditory learner. And none of us are all one or the other, but you kind of want to know your strengths. If you are one that really needs to read or see the slides on a screen, if the instructor's just talking to you doesn't get the information, then you might be more of a visual learner. And then some folks learn best, by actually getting in and working with something. And whether it's working with numbers, whether it's actually tearing an engine apart or dissecting to learn about the body, you'd be more of a tactile learner. Unfortunately for tactile learners, there's not a lot of college instructors that utilize those, and sometimes it's difficult depending on the content area. But anyway, so put down what you think best for learning style, and I have some examples for career planning activities, such as maybe you've met with an SC4 advisor and talked about careers. I think most of you, a lot of you have used Career Cruising. SC4 has a program called SC4 Career Coach that you can use. Maybe you've job shadowed. That takes a career planning activity to a higher level. You've actually gotten in there with a family member or friend or just whatever and spent some time seeing people do the things you think you want to do. Okay? And then career and life goals can be more broad. They could be, I want to become a nurse. They could also be, I want to be a nurse out in California working with babies or something like that. So just one or two life goals here. And then any special skills and abilities you have, okay? So it's really just two sides, but it involves some thinking, and the more thoughtful it is, the more beneficial it's going to be to you, okay? We do need you to sign it, and put the date you complete it, and at the session they handed it in, but we need you again to send it digitally to us. You can drop it off if you want. Come by the office and just drop it off. That would be great too. If not, scan it, take a really clear picture of both sides, and email it to Ms. Weimer. Okay, more information on that is in the email. Okay, now I want to spend a little time to make sure that everyone can access their SC4 email. I'm also going to take a quick look while we're on the internet, because I'm going to exit the PowerPoint for a bit, and just show you a couple of the Microsoft Office 365 tools that you have access to as an SC4 student, which is pretty neat. So let's take a look right now. I'm going to escape out of PowerPoint and head to the internet. I'm actually going to go to the portal and log in there. I'm going to log in as me, but it'll get pretty close to what you can see in terms of yours. Most of you hopefully have figured this out. We tried to send the information to you, but right after Labor Day, the normal link you would see right around here to your email was gone. SC4 went to a new system. We're using Microsoft Outlook. Your address is all the same. Then they did put a button here for college email, and so you now just have to click on that. My guess is most of you figured that out. So very quickly. Now, what I didn't have to do, because it's got me already in the system, it remembered me, which you can do too, is it logged me into my Office 365 dashboard. Okay, you have that same thing. Yours is actually a little bit more because my Office 365 account is through the St. Clair County RESA. We do not use Outlook. So for you guys as students, over here on the left, you're going to see an icon for Outlook, and you would click on that and then answer a couple of quick questions about time zones and English language, and then you can see your email and get to your email. So that's how you get in. You have to click on that college email. You'll enter your SC4 email address and password. Whatever got you into the portal is the same thing you're going to enter to get into your Office 365. Now, I wanted to show you this just in case, even if you're in your email, which I assume most of you are, but these are awesome software tools that you have access to. For example, if an instructor is saying they need something done in Word, if you click on this, it takes you to Word Online. Sometimes they say, well, it's got to be in a certain style. Well, I can click on this MLA style paper. It's just a tool that Word offers. But it will actually open up Word Online, and I can start working on this. And it will show me how to format it in MLA, formatting style. You can also just start a brand new document as well and start typing. It saves it automatically while that's opening. I'm going to go back to, whoops, hold on. Go back to this. You have access also as an SC4 student to a OneDrive account, which is I think a terabyte worth of storage. When you create a document in Word Online, you can save it to OneDrive, and it's there in the cloud, and you can pick it up, for example, in the Middle College office, download it and print it here. So just keep that in mind. So you've got several good apps: Word, Excel, PowerPoint, a note-taking app called OneNote. I'm not sure what these ones are. I don't use these. And then you've got this wonderful OneDrive option, kind of like a Google Drive, but it's for Microsoft. So let me see if this opened. It didn't load it. But anyway, it's usually pretty good in the Chromebooks. It works pretty well on those. So that's Office 365. And you get there by through your portal, by logging in through your portal. There's probably other ways, but that's how I do it. So, okay, I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that, because it is important that you're checking email regularly. Too many people are stating, oh, I didn't check my email, I haven't checked it in a while. Okay, so we're going to go on in just a sec here once this opens up. Okay, so now I want to make sure that everybody viewing this and those that were at the sessions are continuing to work hard. We're now a little over a third of the way, just over a third of the way into the semester. It's actually the end of week 6 as I record this. So there are 9 weeks to go plus final exam week, okay? So it's definitely time to keep pushing, to lean in and find support. And the reason I use this picture is just an example, and many of you are seniors at your high school. There's a lot going on. You've got 3 college classes this year, although your high school classes are down to 3 as well. A lot of you are involved maybe in school activities, whether it's sports, band, clubs. You may be working more this year, and so it can feel like a lot of coming at you, just like the water's coming against this guy. And you do have to kind of lean into that flow. You can do it. We've got hundreds of students every year that do really well. You can be one of those as well. But on the other hand, don't do it alone. Find some support. This guy might not be standing there. He might be swept away if he didn't have that pole to lean on as he moved upstream, okay? So the support can be SC4, Academic Advising Center, the Achievement Center, and the Advising Center, or could be a middle college staff member as well. And we're a good place to start. So something to consider. is that less than 50% of middle college students earn their SC4 degree on time. Now, when everybody starts as 11th graders, everyone's thinking, well, I'm going to get an SC4 associate degree and my high school diploma by the end of grade 13. But unfortunately, a lot of students, about half our students so far, do not receive their degree on time. Now, another 15% earn it within a year after that, but that requires them taking classes on their own, either at SC4 or at another college or university, and transferring those credits back. But it still leaves about a third of our students who don't earn a degree even 2 and 3 years out. So the question is, why is that? Everybody's got a great opportunity to do it. Well, some change their program midway. So you might start out criminal justice and then decide that you want to go on to a university and maybe go into advertising at a university level. So that sometimes, if you start out taking several CJ, criminal justice courses, and then suddenly those courses don't apply to the associate and arts degree, that could delay you a little bit, and that's okay. A few students focus only on a bachelor's degree and the transferability, and in some specialized programs, maybe something like CIS 115, that computer course maybe won't transfer, to an engineering program. So they might not take CIS 115 and keep working on classes that will transfer to their bachelor's program, and that's okay too. But most students don't earn their degree due to withdrawing from a class or failing a class, and usually it's more than one class. When a student drops or fails one class, they can still finish on time with some good planning, but once you do that twice, the chances of finishing on time really drop for you. So, and in most cases, when we talk to students, there really is not a good reason why they're in the point where they should have to withdraw from a class. I won't go into all those, but sometimes students just aren't attending class, and therefore they get behind. But if they just go back and start attending and start working, they can pass the class. Now, this is important. You can pass all your classes. I'm confident that all of you hearing this and viewing this can do that. About 3/4 of the grades for middle college students every semester are A's or B's. So, and all middle college students are not all A students. So most of our students are getting really good grades. Another 10% or so get C's or better. So now we're at 85% with a C minus or better. But I want you to keep in mind, a D minus is still passing, okay? You still earn the credits towards your degree. The course counts as a prerequisite if you need it to count as a prerequisite. So it's not something that you want to say, oh, I'm just not getting the grade I normally get, like an A or a B, and therefore I'm going to drop, or I'm getting less than a C. Some students think that's failing. It's not. The D minus is still failing. So stick with it. Get the courses completed. You can always decide later if you want to retake a class, if you still have time. But on the other hand, keep fighting until the end and see someone. Withdrawing is not an option. So you've got to contact one of us now if you're sensing that the course is going to be tough. It could be the end of October that you start to really struggle. Contact one of us then, but do not just stop attending thinking that you are going to withdraw. You cannot drop a class on your own. Last year, a student could go into their WAVE or their service center and drop a class. You cannot do that now. You need the withdrawal permission form completed, and one of the SC4 staff members must help you drop. So don't think you're just going to skate along and just drop it when you're ready. You won't be able to do that. It's going to turn into an E. Okay? So get help if needed. There's a ton of support at SC4, the Achievement Center, the Writing Center, the Math Center. If you go to this website, you can see the tutoring hours and information. It's really kind of cool. Let me see if we can go there. Hopefully it'll open it up. It does. Okay, so this is the SC4 Libraries website. You can get there from their main page, scroll to the bottom, and click on Library. And what I want to show you in particular is the tutor schedule. So over here, I'm going to click on Tutor Schedule. It gives you a general schedule of when the Achievement Center and the Writing Center and Math Center are open. But what's really cool is you click on this link right here, and you will see the specific tutors, their names, when they're available, and what courses they can tutor for. So in this case, this young man named Callahan can help in a lot of courses. He's been a tutor for a few years, and on Mondays he's at the Achievement Center between 8 and 3:30. Maybe there's an art class or something else that you need help with, and Heather can help with that, but she's only there from 9 to 11 and so on. But throughout the day, there are tutors there, and then it continues on into the library. So here's one who's in the library in the evening 4 to 7, and she can help in the counting and so on. So you can actually find a lot more specifically who might be there to help you when you visit the library website. Okay? So let's go back here. Now, I'm going to take a quick break, and then you might want to as well, because the next phase of the presentation is going to be on planning and helping you choose classes for winter semester and beyond. So I'm going to take a little pause, and then we'll be back in a second. Okay, planning for the future, near and far. So first of all, we're going to look at all these things. High school commencement, planning to complete your program of study, therefore earning your SC4 degree, and then a little bit on what to do and where to go after SC4. And all of that kind of depends on narrowing your career focus, identifying your academic goals. That actually is important to knowing your next step and preparing for that. And then even a little bit on identifying colleges and universities. We're going to spend more time on that in the winter success session, so you can work on that late this spring and over the summer, because you'll be applying to colleges 1 year from now. So next fall is when you're going to apply to colleges. So, but first things first, let's make sure you are able to walk in commencement. If you're attending one of our partner high schools, and many of you are, we want to make sure you can walk in commencement. To do that, you have to complete your high school graduation requirements by the end of 12th grade. Now, you were sent an audit, and that's where Mrs. Barr usually is the one that completes those. Looked at all your high school requirements and what you still needed to get all your high school graduation requirements done, and sent a letter with that and your transcript earlier this summer. Now, the idea is, do you need an SC4 course this year to fulfill one of your high school graduation requirements? And in particular, do you still need one this winter? For example, some students might need their fourth English credit, and to do that, they're planning on taking English 101 at SC4 this year. Well, if they're not doing it in the fall, then they need to do it in the winter, or they're not going to be able to complete their high school graduation requirements. Okay? So the students who are most likely to be short on high school graduation requirements are students who maybe attend tech. The reason for that is that when you're in tech, 3 of your periods every day are at tech, and therefore you're not going to be at the high school very much at all. So maybe you missed an opportunity to take world history or something like that. Students who are in band sometimes have 1 or even 2 band courses during the day. Again, that's an elective, so that takes up some of their time, and that might push out the time to take a fourth English or a world history, something like that. And then if you failed a high school class or classes any year from freshman year on, you may be short. You may need to complete a biology or something like that. So if any of these are you might want to really make sure that you have everything underway, because there's nothing worse than thinking you're going to be going through commencement with all your classmates at Port Huron or Memphis or Yale and not being able to do that. Okay, if you're unsure, check with either of our student advisors, Mrs. Barr or Miss Weimer, and they will let you know. Okay? All right. There is one high school graduation requirement that you won't be able to complete until grade 13. That's okay. It's not going to keep you from walking in commencement. But the state of Michigan says all students must take a math-related class in their final year of high school, which for you will be grade 13. Okay? So that requirement actually kicks in when you start classes next fall. Okay? Now, keep in mind, it can be a math course or a course that includes a lot of math, such as accounting, physics, some of the electronics courses. So check with us if you're wondering whether a particular course you're planning on taking next year will fulfill that final year math requirement. Think about your program of study, okay? Can you postpone a math requirement until your final year? If so, you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, as they say. For example, let's say you are planning to complete your math requirements with Math 104, and you already place into Math 104, and you can either do it in the winter, or you can do it next fall, or next winter even. You might want to wait and take it next fall. By just taking Math 104 in the fall, you've completed this final year high school math requirement. Okay? Now, there are situations where it's not a good idea, though. Sometimes you need a particular math class to get into another either math class that you want or something like a physics or whatever. So check your prerequisites, especially if you're pursuing a science or more engineering related degree, or you ultimately want to get to something like, math 113, pre-calculus, statistics, or something like that, okay? So if you're unsure, check with one of us, because it might be a good idea not to put it off until next year, okay? All right. So continuing on now, planning for your SC4 degree now. We're shifted out of the high school requirements. The key is, what degree do you want, okay? You're currently about 1/3 of the way there credit-wise, all right? At the end of fall semester, you'll have anywhere between 20 and 22 credits, probably about 7 classes, okay? You've got about 2/3 more to go, 40 more credits. You need to get to 62 or greater, and that'll be about 12 classes, okay? Not exactly always, but about 12. So it's time to make a plan and start working on getting her done. Part of that, of course, includes completing all the classes that you're in this term and in the future. There are 2 tools you can use to plan, actually a third one, but I'm just going to mention 2 here. I'm going to show you the program of study template. I think it'll look familiar to you. You had to fill that in and submit it last winter and spring as well, okay? And then last spring, when SC4 turned on their new software, what they call the Service Center, they've got a really cool tool called the My Progress tool. And you can actually plan right through May of 2020. You can lay courses out there, and it will tell you if everything is fully planned. Now, you don't know exactly when courses are going to be offered by section number and so on, but you can at least say, all right, if I take Biology 100 in the fall of 2019 and whatever else, Earth Science in the winter of 2020, that will complete my science. You can always make changes to it, but why not plan that? And I'm going to show you that in just a bit. Here's the paper template. This is one you're probably familiar with, and it's kind of nice because on one page you can quickly record, what courses you've taken. I would just use the little code like, political science, PS 101, SD 140. Okay, that was your fall semester. You can put the credits in parentheses or put a little dash, and you can start adding up your credits at the bottom. There is an example below here on how the credits add up each semester, and then basically how they accumulate here at the bottom to get to 62. Okay, right now you are in fall semester of 12th grade. Okay, you're soon going to be choosing classes for the winter semester. So as you can see, you're really getting to the point where you can get this all planned out. If you know that you will need a humanities class, and you may not know which one you want yet. Is it poetry? Is it art appreciation? Is it philosophy? It's okay. You can just write in humanities. Okay, let's say you need a science class in that final year. Just write in science. Okay, you may not know which one yet. That's okay. So that's how this sheet works, and you can see that, lay everything out. If you need English 101 and 102 and you haven't started yet, make sure that you take English 101 and leave room for it, because English 102 requires you to complete English 101 first. Okay, so any prerequisites, you really want to start thinking about taking those here if you haven't yet, because then you start to squeeze up until the end here. And if you took English 101 your final semester, you're going to have to take English 102 on your own, which is okay, but that summer of 2020 or whatever. Okay, so that's the paper template. And now I want to go out and show you the My Progress tool. Okay, so I'm going to go back out to the portal, and this time I am not going to use mine, but I'm going to use Miss Barr's account. Oops, let me see. Let me do this a different way. I know. Okay, 1 second, folks. I'm going to close this. I think I'm going to close all of this. Well, anyway, let's go back here. See if this allows me in. Yep, so I'm going to have to close the whole browser. It keeps wanting to bring me back in here. Let's go back. When I asked at the session how many people had used the Service Center for planning, the My Progress tool, a fair amount of students had, which is great. Not everybody, so that's why I want to show you this. Let me see if I can remember the password and see if it works. I think it is. Good. Okay. So I'm now logged in as Mrs. Barr. She's allowed me to do this. She just has a little more student-related tools in hers. So I'm going to go into her service center and just show you for a couple minutes the My Progress part. When you log into your service center, it will look similar, and hopefully by now you guys have seen this. You're going to go into your student planning bar, that section, and in this case you're going to go to the Go to My Progress part. Okay? Mrs. Barr right now does not have an active program, so nothing shows up. When you log in, something should show up, and I'll show you what you'll recognize it. I'm going to choose View a New Program. Let me show you that again. Cancel that. Okay, right here you can choose a new program just to temporarily see what you would need. What I'm going to do for that, I'm going to choose an Associate in Science, because Mrs. Barr does not have an Associate in Science yet, so it's not going to be totally complete. So this may look familiar. When you log in, yours might say Art up here, it might say Business. Your program of study will be listed here under the degree. Okay, that can be changed. Just let one of us know if you want to change it, or if you're thinking about it, see one of us or see an SC4 advisor and talk about it. It's easy to change. Whatever your current program is the default program that comes up when you log in and you go to My Progress. Okay, but right now this is just a temporary one that I selected for Mrs. Barr. It shows that credit-wise, she's all set. She's got, I mean, a lot of these yellow credits are just ones we've added to her plan, just as I've shown this to students, okay? But she's completed 69 credits at SC4. So she has more than enough credits, but she doesn't have all the classes needed that she needs for the science degree, okay? I think she earned an arts degree, I think is the one that she got. So as you scroll down and you look at your program, you'll see whether it says it's completed or not. And because you guys are still just about a third of the way in, a lot of these sections, social science, humanities, whatever, are not going to be completed. Again, I've used this at the last 2 sessions, 3 actually, so it's kind of filled in with planned sections. But in this case, for the science courses, it says 0 of 1 completed. So she has not completed the 2 courses needed from 2 different disciplines. She did do earth science, okay, back in the day when she was here, but it's not completed. It does say fully planned because she's added Astronomy 106 to her plan. She's not taking it actually, but it was on her plan for this fall, okay? That's not going to help her because fall semester is underway and she's not registered. It would say in progress if she was, okay? But just to show you how you can add that to your plan, let's say I want my one more science class to be Biology 100. I'm not going to take it this fall, obviously. It's too late. I don't want to take it in the winter, but let's say I want to take it in the winter of my last semester. Let's say I'm going to take it in the winter of 2020. Okay, this is how you put a class on your plan. So in this case, it is planned somewhere. Again, I've added these. But you choose Add Course to Plan. I can't select an actual section number, but I can select a term. I'm going to put it out there in winter 2020. Okay? And then I say Add Course to Plan. So now it'll actually be added, I think, a couple of times. But anyway. So if I want to see, well, where did that go? If I go under the student planning part now, remember we were in My Progress, now we go to the plan and schedule. And I'm going to click on to the winter of 2020. So right now it defaults to fall of 2018. On we go, fall of 2019, winter of 2020. Okay? It's not going to show up on the calendar part of the plan because I don't have a section. I don't have a time and date, but I do have the course here. Okay? So it's saying you're planning on taking this course in the winter, and as winter registration for 2020 gets closer, about a year from now, then I can actually pick a section. Okay? So right now I'm going to get rid of this. This is how you delete a course from your plan. We're going to remove the course, not registered for it, so it's not a problem, and that one goes away. Or it should. There we go. Okay? So I guess what I would say, just wanted to give you a quick overview of this kind of as part of the video, but if you want to get your plan, your whole program planned out to the end of 2020, which I think is a good idea, and you're not sure how to do it, come on in and talk to one of us. We'll be glad to sit down with you. We'll take 20 minutes or 45 minutes, whatever it takes, so you can start to get the courses on your plan. Okay? Once you see how to do it, you can play around with it at home but it's the My Progress tool. If I go back to that, it defaults to whatever your current program. So if I want to see the science again, I have to go back and add it. Okay? So that's just a little bit about the SC4 Service Center, and helping you plan using the paper template or the Service Center portal. Okay, so let's get this back up here, and we'll go on to the next step. Takes a little while for this to come back up to the slide we were on. It should get there. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay, English and math placement. Where do you place? If you're already taking English 101, maybe English 102, or you're taking Math 104 or 110 or whatever, then this is not critical. You've already started, whatever your placement was with AccuPlacer or the SAT, you've used that and you're underway. Some of you have placed into a credit-bearing class in English, but you're still not there yet in math. So it's important you know your status. You don't wait too long to try to improve it if you need to. Okay, because every degree requires some English and some math. At least one math and at least English 101, if not English 101, 102. Okay? That degree planning sheet that we passed out, we asked you to get your math or English placement, know it. If you're not sure where you stand, contact one of us, because I know you don't have your degree planning sheet in front of you. But it's key to know what do you need for your degree, and then where do you place right now. Okay? For the science degree, you need Math 113 or higher. Okay? And if you place into Math 104, 110, 112, that's fine, but you can't go right into Math 113. Okay? Ms. Weimer did send an email this summer to all of you regarding your English and math placement. So if you can go back into your email and search for all the emails from Ms. Weimer, it would be weimer.tracy@sccrisa.org. If it still should be there unless you deleted it, and you can see what your English and math placement is. You can also check your scores in the test summary section of your Service Center, although it doesn't say the actual placement there, but it will give you your AccuPlacer score. And the other thing to consider is all of you took the SAT last spring, and that score may have improved your placement. Now, we don't have a copy of most of your SAT scores yet because you took it at your partner high school. You may have directed the College Board folks to send your scores to SC4, and if so, when you go into test summary, you'll see your math and English scores there, your SAT scores. But if you want help with that, well, two things. You can go to the collegeboard.org site and print a copy of your score report. Bring that to the Middle College office and the SC4 Welcome Center, and they'll enter it into the system. And that may help you with your placement. But if you're not sure how to do that, just come and see one of us and we'll help. Okay? All right. If you place into one of these courses, English 50, English 75, Math 75, or Math 81 and 82, which are the same placement, you probably should take steps to improve your placement soon. Those are courses, they're considered developmental courses. They're not credit-bearing courses. They're designed to help a student improve their skills so they're ready for a 100 level or higher course, such as English 101, 102, or whatever. The Middle College cannot pay for English 50, English 75. Any course less than 100, we cannot pay for. Okay, it's a state rule that no high school or middle college can pay for those. But we can help you try to prepare and test into a regular course, such as English 101 or Math 104. Okay, placement is based on your AccuPlacer or SAT scores. So one of the ways you can improve your placement is by retaking the AccuPlacer test at SC4's testing center. You can just schedule an appointment, go in there and take the test. You can take one of the tests. You don't have to take both. You can just say, I want to retake the math test. There may be a $10 fee. I'm not positive, but I think there may be. But that's not much. That's virtually nothing if you can improve your placement. If you want to practice and prepare, Miss Bonnie Romsek, who you would have met at orientation a year and a half ago, will be glad to help. She works in the Achievement Center, and that's one of the things she does, is work with students and help them improve their placement so they don't have to take English 75 or Math 81 or something like that. So her number is there, or you can go into the Achievement Center and just say you'd like to make an appointment to work with her. Okay. You can also submit your SAT scores if they improve placement. If you're not sure about that, just ask. Email me. I just need your score. Okay, so you have to find your score, and we can help you do that if you don't know it. Okay, and this is a little more long term, but you can retake the SAT. I'll be talking about that a little bit later in the presentation. It's a good idea, but you may want to do it sooner than later if you're trying to improve your placement in math or English. Okay. And the final option is to consider just taking the course that you place into. If you're not strong in math, maybe you really need Math 81 or 82 to kind of get you up, your skills up to where they need to be so you succeed in Math 104. It does require you and your family paying for the course, and that can add up to hundreds of dollars. We can provide the books, but we cannot pay the tuition for the course. But we can talk to you about that and just, how you can break up the payments and things like that. Okay? So see me or any one of us if you have questions about that. All right, a little bit more about the planning now. All middle college students must meet with a college advisor at least once a year. We want you to go into the the advising center at SC4, which is in the Welcome Center building, and meet with an SC4 advisor at least once a year. It is that important. They are the transfer experts when it comes to courses transferring on. And if you're not looking to transfer on, keep in mind, I assume you still want a degree from SC4, that the middle college doesn't issue the degrees. Ultimately, it's the college registrar, the college advisors that will look at your transcript and say, yes, you've earned the degree. So make sure you're on track. See an SC4 advisor. They're on the second floor of the Welcome Center. Okay? Now, we also want you to meet with us. We're glad to meet with students and even include parents if you want. We can certainly help with making sure you're on track for your high school graduation, your SC4 program of study. We can help you with career and college research, although we're not so much career counseling experts, but we can get you started on that. Okay? And then also, as I mentioned earlier, if you're struggling in a class, your first call can be to one of us, and then we'll help you find the resources that you need. Okay? All right. So now, getting near the end here, but there's a lot of information. Remember, the face-to-face session lasts an hour and a half, and so it's not something we can get through this information in just 20 minutes, okay? This is the final planning section. We've talked about high school requirements, we've talked about college degree requirements, and now we want you to look to the future a little bit, like this picture, because that's going to come into play when you're choosing classes for winter semester, okay? It says the more distant future is actually here for last spring's graduates, and I just wanted to show you some of the schools that they're attending now. And you can see it's quite a variety. There's a lot more than this. I could only fit about a dozen logos on here, and there's about 30 different colleges and universities around the state of Michigan and outside of Michigan. So you'll see Indiana schools, we have students in Ohio, and so on. Okay? So they're everywhere. The decisions that they made back in 12th grade are affecting them now, the good decisions and the ones that they didn't spend much time on. So it's key when planning what you're going to take is, choosing the right courses. Do the courses fulfill the Michigan Transfer Agreement? We've talked about that. If you're not sure what that's all about, come see one of us or an SC4 advisor. I'm not going to take time to go into the MTA right now, but it's very important in terms of getting classes to transfer to four-year universities in the state of Michigan. What courses do you need for your university degree? You might have the MTA requirements met, but maybe there's other courses that you'll need for your degree that you can take at SC4. So the middle college pays for them. You get those done. Maybe you're going on for a psychology bachelor's degree. Well, SC4 offers several psychology classes that might help you, so why not take those here? You do need a C or better for the classes to transfer to a university. Okay? Earlier I said D-, you still pass the class, you get the credits, and so on, and that's true. So you want to stick with it, but for a class to transfer to Michigan State or Northern Michigan usually requires a C or better. Some colleges now are accepting a C-, but just something to keep in mind, to keep pushing. Don't set your bar at D or D-, but if it ends up there, that's okay. Don't drop the course, okay? And you want to complete your classes, of course. All right? So, as you look ahead to the future and in that whole next steps, is it a university, is it the military, is it a trade school, whatever it is, you've got to kind of go from this area of fuzzy over here to, if you watch our little guy, to more clear on your goals. I know exactly what I want to do and how to get there. Now that's tough for any of us, okay? But you want to at least move into this zone of I have a general idea of what I want to do and what I need to get there, and you want to be somewhere in here, okay? If you're crystal clear and all planned, that's great, but you don't want to be over in the fuzzy zone, okay? All right. Let's see. Let's move on here. Okay, so planning for the future requires knowing where you want to be. And if you think you know, keep learning, okay? Double check, maybe do a job shadow. Make sure you're on track in terms of your future education and what it entails. If you're thinking the military, keep learning about what the different programs are. Make sure when you sign the line there that you're going to get what you want, okay? So make sure you know what it is you're going for and what it takes to get there. If you're on that left side of the spectrum, still in the fuzzy area, it's really time to search, time to learn about the different options and take steps to narrow your career goals. At least get it down to 2 or 3. You guys, you're in 12th grade now. In 11th grade, I kind of say, well, don't worry about it, but keep thinking. Well, now it's time, you guys. Okay, so some websites that can help you. This first one, bigfuture.collegeboard.org. That can be helpful because it actually gets into specific college majors needed for degrees. Career cruising you are familiar with. If you can still log into that, that's always a good one. You enter your career, and then you can see the education needed in schools that offer it, and so on. SC4 has a tool. If you go to sc4.edu/career coach, you can answer some questions. They have a survey there, and it can give you ideas in terms of again, careers that are out there and what it takes to get into them. Okay. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this next section. Building a strong application for future colleges starts now, and that is important. So I want you to keep, I want to keep motivating you to do well in your classes, and if you haven't done really well, or really start stepping up your game. You want, when you apply a year from now, you want to be proud of your application and your grades, and you want to, be able to get into the schools that you want to attend. So what GPA do you need? What about your SAT score? I've got some real general guidelines here. So here are 3 universities in the state of Michigan, all very common. We have a lot of middle college students that attend all 3 of these. Now, Michigan State basically saying, they want to see someone with around a 3.5 or higher GPA. They will accept students with a lower GPA. That's not saying that everybody's in between 3.5 and 3.9. But you want to keep moving your high school grade point average up. Central Michigan's average freshman GPA coming out of high school is about a 3.3. So again, you could have a 2.9 if you have pretty strong SAT scores and you sell yourself well because you've done well in your college courses, then you can definitely get into Central Michigan. And Oakland University as well. Their average right around a 3.2, but I know for a fact after talking to one of their admissions folks that a student can get in with something in the high 2.8 range, okay? But you've got to be doing well now in college. If your high school GPA is lower because of a slow start, you want to make sure you can say, hey, here's how I've done in my college classes. I've got mostly A's and B's, okay? So just wanted to show you a little bit. And SAT-wise, ideally, if you can get above 1,100, that's great. It looks great on an application, and it helps get you in to these schools. We do have students that get in with, scores closer to 1,000 or so on. So the point being, you have a lot of control still over your grade point average. You only have 4 college classes on your SC4 transcript right now. So you're going to have about 16 more. You're going to end up with almost 18 or 20 college classes. So a long way to go in college. You have about 36 high school semester credits on your transcript as of now. You're going to add another 24, so almost half to that transcript. So keep going with your high school classes as well. Courses may be getting harder at the college, but remember, you can get help. This is the library website. I'm not going to go back there, but there's no shortage of help at SC4. Okay. One final thing I mentioned, I'd talk about the SAT, retaking it. It's a great idea. Too many of our students, their score is in the low 1,000s, or sometimes it's 970, 980 for their combined score. You really want to get that into the high, like 1070, 1080, 1110, something like that. The cost is like $50, a little less than $50. They offer the test on Saturdays every couple of months. You can find it, and you can register at the College Board website, collegeboard.org. If you need help registering, come on in and see one of us. We can take you through the process. And just something out there a little bit. I know June 1st next spring seems like a long way away, but that's not a bad date to think about retaking it. Your college courses will be over for like a month before that, and most of you will have completed graduation activities. A few schools still maybe have commencement, but most of your high school courses will be done, so you have time to practice, okay? So just keep that in mind. We'll remind you about it in the future. Okay, finally now, winter registration. I just want to kind of reiterate, what we've been building to. You've got 3 more classes coming up this winter. Refer to your program of study. You've got to do that plan, otherwise you're just throwing darts at a wall. So you want to make sure, why am I taking what I want to take, okay? Not just because your friend's taking it or it gives you an easy schedule, time-wise, okay? Consider, do the courses transfer? If you're not sure about that, ask and get help, okay? Are you making progress for the MTA? Do you know what future colleges and programs? You need to know these things if you're going to maximize credit transfer, okay? Consider your SC4 prerequisites. What do you need in the winter to help you take the courses you might need or want next year? Okay, we talked about final high school graduation requirements. What do you need for those? Maybe it's in English, world history, something like that, okay? So do you meet the prereqs yet? Do you need high school graduation requirements? Okay, the process is the same used last spring for the fall of 2018 registration. So you're going to log into your service center like I did with Mrs. Bars. I'm not going to go back into that, but once the class is posted, the actual section, once it's put on the your plan for winter of 2019, you'll see a button with each course listed on the left, and it will say register. And on October 29th, that button will actually be active, and you can click on it and actually register, okay? We're going to send links to the videos Ms. Weimer recorded last year when the process was new, and so you'll be able to see that, or just contact us if you're not sure how to complete the process. So, key things to remember when registering: adding the courses or sections to your plan does not register you for them. There's a final step that has to occur. You must click on the register button and check to make sure that it went through. Okay, registration opens at midnight on the 29th. You want to make sure that you complete the process, and the way you can double check that the courses are in fact on your winter schedule is the courses should be in a darker green color on the plan, and on the left side of the screen with each course it should say registered, not yet started. Okay, if it's not showing that and there's still a register button there, the registration did not go through. Okay. Couple last notes: do not schedule a class that starts before noon at SC4. There's a couple of exceptions to that, but we will check registrations. And if you're a Yale student, for example, and you've got an 11:30 class, you'll be called and made to change it. Now, Port Huron High School and Port Huron Northern are close enough that we allow their students to take 11:30 a.m. start time classes. We do not allow you to take 11 a.m. classes. So don't even think about it. Find another schedule. Okay? Students who are not affiliated, they're not attending one of our partner schools, they can take a class anytime during the day because you don't have to be at a high school in the morning. Okay? If we find one that's not following these guidelines, you will need to drop it and choose another, and that just delays you because other sections fill up. Okay, you can't be dismissed early from any high school class or arrive late to any SC4 class. Okay, and finally, here's a link to the Blue Water Middle College website, bluewatermiddlecollege.org. If you go into the current student section and planning for your degree and SC4 registration, those are all valuable pages within the current student section. You'll find the videos on the SC4 registration page. Okay, so, and there's our contact information. I think you know where to find us, and I think you should have all our email addresses. Okay, so that's it. There are some assignments you need to do related to this presentation if you've viewed it all, and it should not take long to complete them. But one thing we do need, and we want you to take time on, is your EDP. So check back to the email for directions on that. Okay, thank you.